Hey there, D Malfi here. Welcome to my kitchen and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy. Today I'm going to make with you a Tempeh BLTA, one of my absolute favorite easy lunches to make, and we have to get right into it because there are a few steps. First, let's start with tempeh. This is one of my favorite protein sources. Now that I've become plant-based, I love eating tempeh. I really like it because it's nutty, it's made from grains, soy, and lots of different combinations of grains and soy, and it is jam-packed with protein. So in one of these containers, which is an 8-ounce brick, it's actually 2.5 servings, and in every 2.5 servings, it's 19 grams of protein. That's a ton. So we're gonna get started with making our tempeh bacon. The first thing that I want to do is take my tempeh out of the package, and it's usually double wrapped. So I'm going to get an 8-ounce brick. You can use any brand that you like. The one that I'm using today is Trader Joe's. It's the organic 3-grain tempeh. It's made with barley, brown rice, millet, and soy as the base. And if you have a soy allergy, or if you can't do soy very well, you can actually find soy-free tempeh as well. So keep that in mind. Here's the package, though, in case you want to purchase it from Trader Joe's. It's the orange package. They only have one at Trader Joe's. All right, so it comes in this brick. It's a nice, beautiful brick. It looks kind of like a bunch of grains that are mushed together, yeah? Pretty simple. My oven is preheating, so let me just get my timer ready to go. There we go. All right, so preheat your oven to 350 degrees for your tempeh bacon while you get the marinade ready. So what I'm going to do with this tempeh is I'm going to slice it into bacon strips. I want 1/4 inch thick strips, and simple. I just want to slice it all the way down. You can see that it's very easy to slice through. It's not a hard brick. It's actually rather, it's firm but easy to slice. It's very chewy. Like I said, very nutty. You can almost see the grains here in the brick formation. And tempeh is a fermented food. It's actually fermented grains and soy together, and it's really, really good for our gut microbiome. So we always talk about the gut belly, and we're hearing a lot more about the gut microbiome these days because it's a really important place in our body that stimulates our immune function. So of course, we're hearing a lot about it with coronavirus. I'm going to grab a towel just so I have clean hands along the way. So grab your tempeh bacon. I'm going to do a double screen here so you can follow along. Put it in a bowl and then make your marinade right over the top. So to this, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce, which I have here. This is Trader Joe's, which I really like. You can use liquid aminos or coconut aminos, would work just fine. I'm next going to add apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of ACV, which I absolutely love. This is a really important vinegar. It has the mother intact. This is apple cider vinegar. And when I'm talking about the mother, I'm talking about this floating organism on the bottom. That's actually the name of it. And that's the thing that's responsible for the antibacterial properties within the apple cider vinegar. So I'm going to give this a shake because I want a little mother in every single splash. I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of the apple cider vinegar. Throw that right in. I'm going to use a tablespoon of olive oil. Now, if you are oil-free, you can remove the olive oil, or you can actually use a little bit of vegetable stock, which would be just fine. There we go. You can also use avocado oil. 1 tablespoon. I'm also going to use a tablespoon of maple syrup because you know how bacon has that sweet kind of heat and salty flavor, that great combo? We want to mimic that, all right? So a tablespoon of maple syrup, and I'm using regular old organic maple syrup, which is my absolute favorite sweetener. It is organic. It has the USDA organic stamp on it. So it's really, really good stuff. And it is one of the least processed, actually not processed sugars because it comes right out of the maple tree. I'm also going to use some liquid smoke. Now, this is totally optional, but I really like it. I have hickory all natural concentrated liquid smoke, which is really good stuff. And I'm just going to use half a teaspoon, not much here, but a little bit goes a long way. Half a teaspoon is going to truly make this taste like it's been smoking in a smoker for 3 hours, right? I'm also going to use a little smoked paprika. This is really good stuff. I'm going to use it right out of the can here. I love smoked paprika because if you can't use liquid smoke, this is really good. I'm going to use a few shakes and ends up being about a teaspoon of the smoked pap. You can use regular paprika too, but know that you're not going to get that smoky flavor. But the choice is yours, right? This is a lot for color and for smokiness, but a lot more for color, I would say. And then a little onion powder and a little cumin, however you say it. I'm going to use a little onion powder, half a teaspoon of this, and then and then a quarter teaspoon of the cumin, half a teaspoon of onion. And I'm using the Thrive Market onion powder. I really like this stuff. And that's it. 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. And then, a little bit of salt. If you aren't salt-free, I'll use like one 1/4 teaspoon of this. There we go. And now I want to give this a quick mix, swapping out my whisk for my spoon here. And I just really want to coat all of the tempeh. So make sure it's well coated. The cool thing about this tempeh bacon is that you can make this ahead of time, and the longer it sits, the better it gets. So you can actually make the marinade 24 hours ahead, and you can let it sit in the marinade for up to a day. Or you can make it a la minute, as we say in the kitchen, or in the minute, right before it goes into the oven. Tempeh is really forgiving. So it's going to absorb the flavors pretty easily, and it's going to hold the flavors really easily. So this is great. All right, my oven is preheated. The marinade is done. All I need to do now is put it into a baking dish. Marinade and all. I like to do marinade and all. And then just kind of make sure that it's all laying down. And I'm going to do my best to actually get it to lay down completely in one layer. Let's see if I have enough room for all of these. I'm going to use a small oven here, so I'm using a small baking dish. And you can also do this on a sheet tray or baking sheet. That's fine, but just make sure it has a little lip. All right, we're going to do our best. There's some pieces that are going to be overlapping, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to make it work, as we always do in the kitchen. Throw this right into the oven. This is going to cook up for about 20 minutes or so at 350. I'm actually going to be cooking it a little bit higher heat, 425 for me today, just so we can expedite this and get this done quicker for you. All right, so now this is a BLTA, right? Part of this is our accoutrement, right? We definitely need all of the garnishes. So let me talk you through what they are right now. Actually, let me make sure that my timer is exactly how I want it. I'm going to set it for 12 minutes. That's my lucky number. Anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes, I think is great. All right, so the garnishes, really important for Tempeh BLTA. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually not going to use bread today, but you could use bread. Absolutely. I would toast your bread. One of the cool things about this recipe, which by the way is coming from my August 2020 Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook right here. We are in the Tempeh BLTA Sando page, is actually I give you the staple recipe for sliced bread. One of the most amazing things I think about this book are the staple recipes. Those are things like bread, coconut milk, yogurt. These are really important things for us to have staples in our kitchen, especially our plant-based kitchen, that are easy to make. So I actually teach you how to make a delicious bread, but today I'm feeling over-breaded from the weekend. I had a lot of bread. I had a lot of sweet treats. And so today I'm going to actually do a lettuce wrap. And for my lettuce wrap, I want a couple different types of lettuces. I have some beautiful purple or red leaf lettuce here. This is gorgeous. This comes from my Farm Fresh GOCSA farm box. And I also have some hydroponic butter lettuce. And I love the butter lettuce. Are you into this like I am? The cool thing about butter lettuce is that it's all hydroponic, meaning it actually grows in water. Here's what it looks like. Let me actually show you. I wanted to show you because it's so cool. First of all, it comes in this great clamshell, and right on it, it will say its uses. So it's actually wrappable, choppable, and devourable. I know it's hard to read, but let me show you what it actually looks like. I love the butter lettuce because it actually stays super fresh for a really long time. And the reason it does is because it's sold with its root ball intact. Isn't that pretty cool? This is intact, and so before you actually make your salad or your lettuce wrap, remove that. You can chop it right off. But because that's intact, it's going to stay for a lot longer. I actually bought this lettuce 2 weeks ago. No joke. No joke. And you can see it's totally fresh. There's nothing about this that looks like a 2-week-old lettuce at all. So this is good stuff. I really, really like it. I'm going to use a combo of both. You're probably wondering why? Why both lettuces? Because That's what I'm all about. I like these beautiful red leaf lettuce wraps because they're long, right? So I can place my bacon in here and fold it up. And then I like to also use some of these inside because this is going to capture the sun-dried tomato aioli that we're about to make, the avocado, maybe red onion, all of that. All right, so the other accoutrement that we might need, of course, pickles. You have to have one. I'm going to slice up this pickle for us, and then a little purple onion or red onion here for our antioxidant kick. All right, so now I need to make some, well, actually, before I do that, let's take a question. I see there's some questions here. Hi, Chelsea. How you doing? Could you also make this using tofu? Sorry, new to all of this. Please don't ever apologize. Absolutely, totally fine. Thank you so much for your question. You absolutely can make this with tofu. The reason that I didn't make it with tofu today is because I've had a lot of tofu over the last few days. And a cool rule of thumb, as an integrative nutrition health coach, which is what I am, as am I a chef, I try to tell people, get a lot of different protein sources. So this has come up a lot in our Plant-Based Made Easy Facebook group because people are really curious about tofu. I don't know about you, Chelsea, but have you ever heard like people talk about, oh, well, we shouldn't eat a lot of tofu, but especially women. We really have to limit the amount of tofu that we eat, and actually tofu is not actually considered a healthy ingredient. It actually can be pretty toxic to the body. Has anyone heard of that? That's an old school way of thinking about tofu. Let me dispel this myth for you. Tofu has actually been debunked this as a toxic food and is actually really a healthy food if we eat organic tofu, especially if we're choosing specific tofus. One of the most important tofus that I enjoy, actually the only one that I use in most of my recipes, is organic and sprouted tofu. This means that the vitamins and the minerals within the tofu itself are not only going to all be organic because it's actually made from organic seed and it's not sprayed with any herbicides and pesticides, but the vitamins and minerals become more bioavailable when they're sprouted. Not to mention there's a little bit more protein in sprouted food. So I highly recommend, if you're going to enjoy tofu, get organic and sprouted tofu. You'll thank me later. That's the taste of this tofu is also really neutral. It's really forgiving, just kind of like tempeh. It's easy to use with any sauces and marinades and things like that. But today I'm using tempeh because I like to mix up my protein sources. Make sense? So if I'm going to have tempeh the night before, I might not want to have tempeh the next day. I might decide to have tofu the next day and vice versa. There's lots of other protein sources that come from just plants themselves too. So don't forget about those. I'll mention them really quickly right now. Beyond the tofu, the tempeh, and the seitan, which are all wonderful, but in a way kind of processed or fermented, if you will, protein sources. Since seitan isn't fermented, it's processed though. The other plant protein sources come from things like dark leafy greens like Swiss chard, kale, spinach, things like nuts and seeds, hemp seeds, almonds, macadamia nuts, and then things also like grains like quinoa and brown rice. These also have a ton of protein. So I'm happy to talk more about protein sources. Plant-based proteins are really, really important, and we want to get a different variety of plant-based proteins from all different types of food sources. Make sense? I hope that answers your question. Thank you for asking. It's a good one. And if anyone else has questions along the way, please let me know. I can see who's here. Hello, everyone. All 159 of you. I love you and I thank you for being here. All right, let's make some sun-dried tomato vegan aioli or mayo. All right, this is a fancy word for mayo. We're going to make this today, and we're going to make this really simple. I'm going to actually make this mayo with aquafaba. And aquafaba is a really fancy name for the chickpea liquid, the actual liquid that comes from a can of chickpeas or garbanzo beans. So I have it here. You can actually see, I'm going to use 1 can of chickpea liquid. And this is the brine. It's very salty and it's very starchy. So this is actually going to act as a wonderful protein starchy emulsifier for an eggless mayo, which is what we are going to make. So get a food processor, or you can do this in an immersion blender. And to this immersion blender or food processor, I'm going to add in some sun-dried tomatoes, about 1/4 cup. Those are going to go right in. And those are packed in oil. Oh, I should have showed you. I missed that. I'm going to show you just so that you know. These are packed in oil. Here's what they look like. Jenny, can we do an overhead shot, please? Look at how delicious, right? Let me get my camera focused. There we go. Gorgeous, right? These are glistening with oil, so delicious. 90% of all of these sun-dried tomatoes that are packed in oil or dry packed come from the great state of California. I did actually an episode of it back in the day when I had a show on PBS. And that was a really fun episode. I learned so much about sun-dried tomatoes. And it has the highest amount of lycopene. That is the wonderful phytonutrient that are in red foods like watermelon and tomatoes. So add the sun-dried tomatoes. This is if you are going to make sun-dried tomato aioli. If you want it just to be plain aioli or plain mayo, leave it out. The next ingredient that we want is a 1/4 cup or so of aquafaba, and that's the liquid from the chickpeas. I'm going to add this right in. I think this is just a little bit over 1/4 cup. So 1/4 cup goes in. I'm also going to use a little bit of lemon juice. Now we need some acid, and I need to make sure that my acid's coming from the lemon juice. Don't use orange, don't use lime. Try to use lemon juice if you can, and try to make it a real lemon. And I'm going to use a little lemon cheek here. Right? And I'm going to just like squeeze this right in. I want about 2 teaspoons of the lemon juice. All right, I'm going to grab another cheek because I think that was about 1 teaspoon. And I'm eyeballing it. You can absolutely measure it though. All right, and now I need a little sweetness as well. Really important for an aioli that we have some sort of balancing of flavors here. I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon of cane sugar. Regular old, this is organic cane sugar. You can see this is unbleached. So it takes on this kind of golden brown color. Do you see that? It is a regular old cane sugar though. I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon. This is 1/4, so I'll use 2 of these. And then 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. I'm going to use regular sea salt today. This is good stuff, which I really like. It is super duper fine, unprocessed, right from the sea. Delicious. And then that's it for now. Oh, one more ingredient, Dijon. I can't forget the Dijon. This is actually going to be the true glue or the true emulsifier. Dijon mustard has a wonderful ingredient in it called soy lecithin that is also within egg yolk. That's why mayo is usually made with eggs. But we're going to make this egg free. And so we're going to use 1/2 teaspoon of the Dijon mustard. And it can be any mustard. It can be spicy brown. It can be regular yellow mustard. But Dijon has a really great high amount of that soy lecithin. And it should be listed in the ingredient as well. It's not. So I'm not really, because it's in the mustard seeds. That's how it's coming from this source. This is really good stuff. And that is going to really kind of capture it everything. That's going to emulsify it. Let's get into it by showing you actually what happens when we turn on the blender. So get your food processor on, and we want to just start it. Get it mixing. Let it blend up for a second so those sun-dried tomatoes and the aquafaba start to get foamy. And then get your oil handy, all right? We're going to use 3/4 cup, and I should measure this out, of avocado oil. You can use sunflower oil. You can use olive oil, although olive oil is going to have kind of a more fruity or bitter flavor. So if you're not used to that, just kind of know. I really like the neutral oils. They're the best. So for this, I'm going to use avocado oil. It's the most neutral of them all. And let me actually measure this out. I'm going to use 3/4 cup, and I don't want to mess this up. So I really want to make sure I have just the amount that I need. Now, if you're oil-free, good on ya. If you're whole food plant-based, good on ya. Those are the people that are usually oil-free and salt-free. Anyone here on the line oil-free or salt-free? I just want to say you can absolutely make this oil-free or salt-free. The way to make it salt-free is to use a salt substitute or to remove the salt altogether, because probably by now, if you're salt-free, your palate has adjusted. So you can take the salt out altogether. You only used 1/2 teaspoon, so it's really not all that much. And if you're oil-free, you can replace the oil in this recipe with soaked cashews, that you soak raw cashews in water overnight in just a little mason jar, glass container, anything like that. Overnight, they get really nice and soft, and you would add everything to the blender all at once, and it would come together. I'm almost there, 3/4 cup, and we've achieved it. All right, so now I'm going to turn this on. You're going to have a hard time hearing me, but I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to slowly drizzle in my oil and give this a little prayer. I hope this works. Here we go. All right, this looks really great. I haven't finished putting in the oil yet. I'm gonna finish it up now. Fantastic. As you can see, my little dog Boo had a little cameo there. That was Boo. We love Boo. She's a good girl. It's my first dog. Love her to pieces. Now I'm a dog lover. All right, so this emulsified perfectly. So I'm sorry that I can't speak over my Ninja here. My food processor is loud, just like yours is, I'm sure. And basically all I'm doing is I'm streaming in the oil a little stream at a time. Like I'm making the stream very, very short and small, and I'm streaming it in a little bit at a time. Now, what this is doing is this is truly emulsifying this dish. That means that the fat molecules are being picked up and sticking to, adhering to all of the other ingredients, and then creating a blending of all of the ingredients so that when you have the final product, it should look like a creamy, blended, delicious mayo. We'll do an overhead so you can actually take a look. Ta-da, we have a yummy thick mayo. Obviously this is sun-dried tomato color, kind of rosé color. Yummy, this is perfect. So I'm going to now check on our tempeh. Let's just see how we're doing. Oh, this looks so good. All right, I think what I'm gonna do is actually taste just to see how we are at this stage. You can see at this stage, it's already starting to come together. It looks soft. It looks like it's starting to look like bacon a little bit, right? It's never going to be like red, super red like bacon, but perfect enough. Oh my goodness, does this look good? A couple things that I want to just mention really fast about tempeh. We had a question. 2 people asked this last week. Tempeh sometimes tastes very bitter to some people. Has anyone out there watching had this same flavor effect? It actually has to do with your palate more than anything else. Some people actually taste tempeh and just have a really bitter flavor on their palate. And that's just something about the fermentation of the tempeh itself. And if that's the case for you, just limit the amount. Sorry, that's not what I wanted to say. If that's the case for you, what I want you to do is pre-steam or pre-boil your tempeh. And when I say pre-boil, I say like literally do a little bit of a pre-boil, like get your boiling water on your, get your boiling water on a pot and then boil it. Literally, once the water is boiling, throw in the tempeh, let it boil for like 1 or 2 minutes, remove it, and then drop your tempeh, like your sliced tempeh pieces that are plain without the marinade, just right out of the brick, sliced up. Drop your boiled tempeh or your steamed tempeh then in an ice bath to stop it or to shock the cooking, to shock it so that it stops the cooking. There we go. Get the words out, D. All right. So what that does is it actually will move some of that bitter quality, hopefully all of that bitter quality. So just word of the wise, if you've never tasted tempeh and you're wondering, oh, what's it like? It may be a little bitter at first if you're not used to it. For me, I never had that issue. I have never tasted tempeh and thought, oh, this is super duper bitter. Thankfully, and that's probably why I love it so much. But if you have this issue, I know my mom was just sharing this with me. My mom's not on the line right now, but my mom was saying, Dee, what do I do? Like every single time I eat tempeh, it's way too bitter. I thought at first it was just the tempeh was expired. So I went to the store and I, got another batch. I got a couple different kinds and all of them tasted bitter. They were all different kind of manufacturers. They were different brands. They even had different grains and all of them tasted bitter no matter what she did. So I said, okay, let's figure this out. And she did a little research on her own. I will have to tell you that she is actually the one that came to me and said, I read that you could steam it or boil it. Is that true? So I tested it. It does work. It does actually help. So do that. Follow my mom's technique. All right, we are ready to build. First thing that I need to do is get my ready, my avocado. This is a California avocado. Look how beautiful this is. I love the California avocado, as you all probably know. I talk about them a lot. My favorite food, my favorite fruit. Yes, it is a fruit. Get this open. I'm going to use my chef's knife and just run it around the avocado, right? You can see that I've used my chef's knife here to run it around full kind of orbital, run it all the way around and then take it and open it up by kind of just like basically like turning it, right? Turn it, Open it, and voila, we have a beautiful, perfectly ripe avocado. To take this pit out of the inside, the seed here, you can take your chef's knife. Do this very carefully, please. Pay attention to what you're doing. Get very close to the pit with your chef's knife and give it a whack, and then give it a turn. Oh, sometimes the seed will break, and if it does, you have to do it again. Perpendicular, go the other direction, give it a whack, give it a turn, and it's not going to work. Of course, if this happens, that's okay. It even happens to me. Look, it cracked up, right? So if that happens, take it and run your knife over the other direction and watch. We're just going to pull the avocado right around the pit, right around the seed, and there you go. So a couple different ways to do this. The avocado will definitely tell you which way it wants to be removed. All right. I'm going to put this aside. I only need a little bit. Our tempeh bacon is totally done. Yum, 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 yum. This looks great. It smells great. If you wanted, you can, of course, stop this. You can actually put this under the broiler if you wanted for a few minutes before you served it. I just want to show you, look at this tempeh bacon. This really does smell so delicious. I truly wish you were here in my kitchen so that I could make you a lettuce wrapped tempeh BLTA right now. Oh, before I do that, I wanted to show you one other thing. I got this for you guys. Look what I got. I got this cool tempeh starter culture kit. This comes from Thrive Market. It's just a package, and in it, it has rice, soybeans, and the culture. So you can actually make your own tempeh at home. I thought this was really cool. So I'm going to make a batch, and I'll report back and let you know what I think. But this comes from Cultures for Health. They have a yogurt and a tempeh pack just like this. Kind of cool, right? I love Thrive Market because they sell these sorts of things. They're hard. These things are hard to find in market. Not that I don't think anyone's going to the store thinking like, I want a tempeh starter culture. I know I am, but you might not be. So here you go. Thrive Market. Pretty cool stuff. All right, let's build it and they shall come, right? All right, I'm going to place my tempeh bacon on the side. Let me grab a little plate and I will build right on a plate. I'm going to start with some red leaf lettuce. Why don't I make one for Danny too? No, Danny, not Boo. Boo cannot eat tempeh bacon. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of the red leaf lettuce. Remember, that's going to be long. I'm going to then take a little bit of the Boston Bib or the butter lettuce. It goes by both names. They're both the same. And you can use 2 different kinds of lettuces like I'm doing, or just one. Totally up to you. All right, we're going to finish this up rather quickly. I'm going to take my pickle here. And I'm just going to slice this up. Danny was giving me a hand signal. Danny, I don't know what your signal meant. Help. All right, we're almost there, guys. I know this is a little longer. Get your pickles down. Need a little bit more. You know, Danny likes the dill pickles. They're so yummy. Throw them down. A little bit of red onion. Why not? Thinly sliced. Just a few pieces. A little bit of avocado. Why not? Because we opened it. You can use mustard. You can use mayo. We're going to use both today. Obviously, we made our aioli, but we also want a little bit of mustard, I think. I love the mustard. Any tomato? The tomato is in our aioli because I didn't have any fresh tomatoes. So I'm giving it to you in the form of aioli today. Ooh, we almost lost that avocado. That would have been bad. All right. And by bad, I mean bad. All right, get this avocado on. Compost that. I think I'm going to do a little bit of spicy brown. Choice is yours. A little bit of the aioli. I need a clean spoon for this. This looks so good. It's a gorgeous color. We got the lettuce. We got the avocado. We've got the sun-dried tomatoes as the tomato in the aioli. We got the tempeh for the bacon. Yum, yum. This looks divine. And that, my friends, is one gorgeous Tempeh BLTA lettuce wrap sando. These look amazing. Here, this one's probably easier. Let me show you in the overhead just so that you can salivate with me. Yum. I think I'm going to take a quick little bite. Quality control. This is why I count on the bust and bibs, so I can like grab everything. I'm literally just going to grab it and fold it in my hands, fold it up just like this. Now this is a lettuce wrap, BLTA. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? I know it's all over my face. That's because it's that good. Yes, yes, yes. You guys have to try this. Seriously, try this. It is so darn good. It is very easy. This is a wonderful lunch recipe. Obviously, you can make it ahead of time. And you know what? Obviously, you can make it your own. If you do make it your own, if you add anything to the aioli, if you mix it up with different vegetables or garnishes, let a sister know. I want to see your amazing plates. I want to see your amazing dishes as you make this food. If you do, we take a photo and then post it in our Facebook group, Plant-Based Made Easy. We are over 800 people strong and growing from all over the world. Thank you so much for staying. Thank you so much for being here today. This was super fun. I absolutely love this recipe. I hope that you love it too. Tomorrow, we're going to be back in the kitchen for an amazing pizza dinner. We are going to make zucchini crust pizza. It's going to be amazing. Please join us for this. We're going to talk about actually how to make plant-based cheese as well. I'm not going to show you how to do it, but I'm going to have it available and we can actually show you just how easy it is. I'll walk you through the steps. I love you all, even though I probably haven't met you yet. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Go out there and make it a wonderful, magical experience for you, your family, and the rest of the world. See you later. Ciao for now. Peace out. Bye, guys.